What's up, War Report family? It is your pre-game Iron Bowl special. Us versus them. Let's get into it.
Pregame, halftime, and post the whole time the chat live. We around our folks, but we gon' keep the chat tight, keeping out trolls. That's why you gotta get your green name on, your pregame on, cause ain't nobody doing it better, reviewing it better, building rapport so you in tune with the players, with some quick prize picks so you can scoop you some cheddar. Get your mug or your shirt with the letters. Game time.
As always, before we get into our pre-game, we have to show love to the people who show us love. That starts with Prize Picks, sponsor of today's show. Head on over to Prize Picks, guys, where if you use code REPORT, you'll get a 100% deposit match up to $100, guys, on your first deposit. We want to shout out Prize Picks for being a sponsor of our game day experience. Shout out to you guys for hanging out with us. I'm joined by Mike G and B Will. Guys, it's Iron Bowl. In case you didn't know, we're playing a game today with all the news that's been happening with Auburn so far. How are we feeling about the Iron Bowl, the 2022 edition of the Iron Bowl? I'll start with you, B.
Oh, I really wish we didn't have other things going on today outside of the Iron Bowl. I wish it could have just been about the Iron Bowl, but college football is a business. Some people outside of the Auburn sphere just decided to make it about business more than the Iron Bowl, and I think it's taken away from what could be a very memorable game. A very memorable game. I did Ben with B. Will this morning, was writing it up, and Alabama has been underwhelming for the last 2 years, this year and last year. They've underperformed expectations. They've underperformed their recruiting landmark. They've had impact players at transfer when they were recruiting better than anybody in the country for over a 10-year average at least. Why have they fallen back so far? Why has Georgia ascended? I don't know. You could put it on this or that. All I know is that they barely beat Texas A&M at home. They barely beat a Texas team that ended up losing 4 games. I'm not inspired by this Alabama team. They're not scary. They're not the bullies on the block. I think we at the very least cover, which was my pick for betting would be Will today, 22.5. That's too good to be true, man. Our defense alone, doing what they've done the last 3 weeks, our defense has given Bama a game last year when our offense wasn't great. I don't know how that's any different. I know you're going to say, hey, it's on the road. Yeah, man, this is different. This is different. That team isn't great even at home. Bama's not. Our defense is now playing to what we thought their potential would be. We at the very least cover. I'm not finna predict no upset right now. But we at the very least cover. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not scared of these boys. We about to move into a new era with a new head coach, and I just want to get the rest of the 2022, starting with the Iron Bowl. I want this to be the beginning of something fantastic, whether it's a valiant effort in a close loss or an upset win. I want to see something exciting today, and I'm excited about this game. Not at the least bit worried or scared by this Alabama team.
Yeah. Listen, my thoughts are simple. Slow down Bryce Young, and you have a chance. Yeah. If you can't slow Bryce Young, Auburn has 0 chance in this game because it'll mean our defense is not doing the job. But look, not a lot of people. The spread was 22 points on this one. Upsets happen every day. This has been a fantastic rivalry week so far. Lots of one-score games. And I will point out on our Wednesday show, one man had the courage to pick South Carolina over Clemson. South Carolina leads 31-30 right now in the fourth quarter. So can Auburn pull off something similar? Robbie Ashford's going to have a big day, I think, personally. And they're going to have to keep the running game going. It's no secret to Bama what Auburn is going to try to do in this one. They're going to keep the ball on the ground. I see some of the comments here that you guys are leaving. It looks like the weather is cold and maybe a little sloppy out there today. So that will factor into how both teams run offense. But we'll see how it goes. If we've got to air it out, I don't think Auburn wins this game. But if they can play ball control, keep Bryce Young on the sidelines, they've got a chance.
I agree for sure. Before we get into some of the picks, let's grab some super chats real quick. Cody Smith says, let's go, fellas, 3-0. Let's do 4-0. Cody Smith is going out on a limb. He's putting his streak on the line. his perfect record on the line when he shaves his head. Let's see if he remains undefeated. War Eagle to you, Cody. He also comes back and says 20 years ago today, Bama was 9-2, ranked 9th. We rolled in Bryant-Deny with the third string Trey Smith, or 20 years ago, we rolled into Bryant-Deny with the third string Trey Smith, and we won 17-7. War Eagle.
We got that 3 running backs better than Trey Smith this year. So hopefully one of them pops off, or maybe multiple even. Looking for Bama to maybe underestimate Jarquez Hunter. And those guys have to take advantage of their openings when they get them. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
For sure. Well, let's get into some of these picks, Mike. What you got?
Oh, man, it is the pregame presented by PrizePicks.com. It's the Iron Bowl. So here's what we're going to do. After you log in, go up to your search bar, type in Auburn. We're going to make 2 picks here. I'm going to go with Tank Bigsby fantasy score. Right? And I'm going to go more, over 13.5 fantasy points. It is Tank's last Iron Bowl, certainly. I expect him to score at least a touchdown and maybe have, 50 to 60 yards on the ground at the minimum. So that should be a lot. I mentioned also Robbie Ashford is going to have a big day. I look for him to use his legs. I'm taking Robbie Ashford over on rushing yards. I think Robbie Ashford does with his legs on a few big runs. So look for him to bust a 25-yarder, and they'll make sure that his legs are felt in this one, certainly. For our third pick, let's get interesting. We're going to hop on over to the USC game, and we're going to bet one Mr. Caleb Williams.
To do what now?
I like what he's been doing this year. Now, this is a guy a lot of folks wanted to end up at Auburn in the offseason. I said there was no shot. I was definitely right. So I'm hanging with Caleb. USC versus UCLA today. Versus Notre Dame. They're playing Notre Dame. If USC wants to keep their playoff hopes alive, they're going to have to show up today. I expect them to do that. Caleb Williams is going to be a big part of that. I'm going over on passing touchdowns. 3 passing touchdowns from Caleb. USC.
I would disagree. Notre Dame been boxing people up for the last few weeks, but we'll see.
Hey, man, listen, this is a possible Heisman winner here. I expect him to show up. So we're gonna place that entry. No problem. It's placed. Want to thank PrizePicks.com for sponsoring the War Report pregame, halftime, and post-game show. Hopefully, we're all cashing at the end of this one. So keep your eyes on that USC Notre Dame game.
Gentlemen, listen, one of the things that I'm looking forward to getting back to the Iron Bowl is when I think about last year, Alabama's offense wasn't much of a threat running the football. They have a much better running back this year. My thing is for Auburn's defense, if they can keep Bama one-dimensional where they have to depend on Bryce Young, much like what they had to do last year, I like our chances in the game. But thoughts on neutralizing Bama's run game?
Is Gibbs 100%? He's not 100%. I know that for a fact. I don't know if he's playing. I know he was questionable coming into the week. I haven't checked the updated injury report to see if he's actually going to play, but they had a questionable run game last year, the entire year. So the run game wasn't really a threat. Gibbs is much more dynamic than Brian Robinson was. So yes, they do have a much better opportunity to take pressure off of Bryce Young. But even though that's the case, you take pressure off of Bryce Young by running the ball. Yeah, you can get something on us. You can move the ball a little bit on us. I don't know how well you'll run the ball on this new under Cadillac defense, because this is a different defense.
Right.
The production's been much better. And that's why it's hard to speculate, we were terrible against the run. But these last few weeks we haven't been. And we haven't played a dynamic running back over these last few weeks either to say we know exactly how good we are defending the run. So it's hard to say whether that's going to be enough. What I do know is that Bama's passing game isn't great, regardless. So if you're going to say, all right, the running game might get them a couple open shots, it's like, yeah, but our secondary can defend those shots. So if you're telling me it's going to be a grinded out game where all we have to worry about is the running back and we can keep some pressure on Bryce Young, then their running game, though improved, I don't think it's all world, because their offensive line isn't all world. They've just got a much better athlete back there. And that does make a difference. It absolutely makes a difference, but I don't think it's enough to win them this game. not by itself. It's going to have to be Bryce Young making some big plays, which he can do. He's a Heisman winner. He can do it. But it can't just be Gibbs getting chunk yardage. It's got to be everybody. The wide receivers have to play a lot better than
that's
they
the
play.
thing.
Yeah.
Their wide receivers took a step back this year, B.
Yeah.
They had some amazing receivers last year that was able to bail out Bryce Young at times.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys are gone.
Yeah, attrition is inevitable at the skill positions.
Right.
At some point, it's going to catch up to you. Again, their best receiver last year, they pulled out of the portal. So, at some point, it was going to catch up to him. And if that guy was able to just walk in and start, he couldn't see the field at Ohio State.
Right.
Then, it was kind of a foreshadowing that they might have some issues, at the wide receiver position. I honestly, I'm going back to, I think this is all about Bryce Young. What kind of game he's going to have, if Auburn is going to have a chance, because he doesn't have to play his best game to win. I think scoring points is always a concern for Auburn. But Nick Saban see the tape, guys. Like the last couple of weeks, it's been run. It has been old school Auburn football. It's been Cadillac, Ronnie Brown type football, and Brandon Jacobs, if you want to go back another year. And he's going to be prepared to stop that. Now, the health of Robbie Ashford's shoulder, I think, is a storyline in this one. I think it's hampered him a little bit and be able to throw the ball. So he's feeling a little bit better, is what I've been told. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I expect Alabama to at least sell out against the run early and try to force Robbie to throw the ball. He's going to throw you. He's going to throw you some balls in the area. The receivers are just really going to have to help him out today, I think. You're going to have to help your quarterback go up and get a ball. He's going to throw some dimes, and we'll see how it goes. But to me, it's more about Bryce Young. And if Alabama's offense can force Auburn's offense to play the type of game that they don't want to play, having to catch up and score. I mean, Brian Harsin complained about this a lot. Like, they would get behind, and instead of playing ball control, they have to throw the ball all over the field. We'll see if Coach Caddy sticks with the run if Auburn gets down 2 scores early, or, anything could happen in this one. But Bryce Young is going to be the key.
Right.
How do you feel about our secondary, which I think has played really well against heavy pass teams this year? I was impressed with how we looked on the road against Mississippi State. Did well there. Do we expect to see, we're going to obviously need it, but what do we expect to see with our secondary going against Bryce Young and the Bama receivers today, Mike?
They're going to have to step up, right? Like we said, this is a susceptible wide receiver core for Alabama. So DJ James has been playing lights out. Nehemiah Pridgeett has stepped it up in recent weeks. These guys are going to have to come in. They're going to have to lay some licks. They're going to have to set the tone early that you're not just going to be able to throw the ball all over the field on us. Now, again, if conditions are sloppy, Bama may try to keep the ball on the ground and out of harm's way as well. But we'll see what Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien he's not a popular coach in Bama circles.
No, he's not.
I see a lot of all I want for Christmas is Bill O'Brien to get shipped off to Guantanamo Bay. People really don't like people really don't like him in the Bama circles. So let's see what kind of game he calls today. Saban is not the best in-game strategist.
Nah.
If you ask me. He's made some very high-profile mistakes when it comes to game management. What's Bill O'Brien going to do today, and will he be off to his next job after he possibly blows the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa versus the Auburn Tigers?
Some Bama fans tell you he's already off to his next job after the Iron Bowl.
Yeah, they sold him. They sold him off already.
Yeah, for sure. B. Will, we'll talk about the pass rush. We got to Rice early and often last year. Now we're down Aku Leota, who again was a big part of our pass rush. But what do you anticipate with Kobe Wooden and the rest of the guys up front? Marcus Harris, what do you expect to see with those guys up front in terms of disrupting the timing of the offense, beating Alabama at the point of attack, and getting some pressure on Bryce Young to make it hard for him to work against us?
Well, last week was unfortunate that we had a couple of defensive linemen go down. I'm hoping that they're good to go, that they're at least good enough to have an effect today, that they're not still hampered by whatever got them out the game last week. But our defensive line now, our front seven now is, again, comparable to what our front seven was last year. as far as production. We don't have, I don't think we still don't have a linebacker as good as the Kobe McLean on our roster, but the effect that the front seven has had on games now since Caddy has taken over, and he repeatedly talked about we had to simplify things for these guys. We've seen more bodies on the field, and Caddy's talking about simplification, and that has seemed to make a difference with guys getting to places quicker, rallying to the ball better, making reads a little better. It's amazing how much I downplay the change of coach, but it's made a difference, man. So we have everything we need to pressure them. We might not have everything we need to pressure them for 4 quarters, though. That's the biggest difference in this game. Them playing at home, us being down a couple of significant pass rushers, because you have to remember we had a TD Moultrie last year who was effective all last season. Aka Leota, even though he was only playing backup snaps, he was effective. And I don't think we have one pass rusher now as good as Echo Leota was or would have been in this game, which still hurts my heart that we don't have him out there playing for us, man. I think he would have been amazing. But front seven, total team effort with the guys that we have on the inside. And we've got some faces out there. Marcus Bragg has had some timely production. Everybody that they brought in the offseason has at least contributed outside of Asante, who didn't really see the field this year. And it's not beyond this staff to put even more guys out there, because why not? We got athletes here. We got amazing athletes here. We knew we had talent here. Put them out there, because the worst that could happen is you're going to give our starters some significant rest so they don't have to be out there playing outside of their mind for 4 straight quarters. You put the other guys out there, you rotate, and you get some pressure on Bryce. And it doesn't mean that they're not going to score any points. I don't expect us to hold them to 10. I think that was an otherworldly effort fueled by the home crowd. I don't think we do that today, but you don't have to hold them to 10 to have a significant effect on the game and on the Alabama offense. So, yes. Can this front seven get to him? Yes. Can we get him on the ground a few times? Yes. Is it going to be enough over 4 quarters while our offense does the rest? We will see.
Get to some comments here. Nicholas Frazier says at least 3 sacks today for the Auburn defense.
I certainly hope so.
I certainly hope so. CM Pat says it's getting a bit chilly. Don't know if that's a double entendre reference there, or if it's really getting chilly there. Cody Smith says, appreciate the super chat. Tank and Hunter, I believe, will take over War Eagle. We'll talk about that. We'll circle back around and talk about that, guys. Actually, let's talk about it right now. What is your expectations for Tank and Hunter in this game, guys? I know you've been big on Jarquez Hunter, Mike G. What kind of numbers are we expecting for these running backs?
I think we're going to have to see something similar than we've seen the last few weeks. Both running backs, some finding a way to, almost 100 yards at least. Tank's going to have to add a couple of TDs. They've been doing a good job. I think that Jarquez Hunter could probably stand to get a couple more carries, but ultimately balancing those two is going to be very, very important today, because they're going to be the offense. Those 6 legs between Jarquez Hunter, Tank Bigsby, and Robbie Ashford are going to be the offense today. And then Robbie's going to have to surprise with his arm. But Tank and Hunter, they're going to have a big day today for Auburn to have a chance, I think, unless somehow it ends up being a 2021 version of this game, which I don't see in Tuscaloosa. Now, I will tell you this. I got one message for the run game. If it's similar, if it's close, stay in bounds, keep the clock going. If for some reason, you have to coach them up on this. I never will understand how in certain situations players don't have the situational awareness thing where there's one thing you can't do, and then they go out there and do it. Now, I get it when the physical exertion is that high and you're trying to do things and adrenaline's pumping, sometimes it's hard to think about those things. But I hope the coaches make sure that these guys are situationally aware and know what they need to do in key situations in the game.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Jazzy Joe says 500 if we get this win.
That's
Let's go.
It's the Iron Bowl. This would be like 1,500. I'm joking. Of course, we're thankful for anything Jazzy gives.
Yeah, listen, I'm hoping for a dub just in general, man. Cody Smith says Robbie has his 0-2 Trey Smith game today. Watch and enjoy. War Eagle.
I hope a lot of people have their 0-2 Trey Smith game. I hope we need like 3 or 4 people to have it. Yeah.
Well, the 0-2 Trey Smith game was really the offensive line, so let's hope that's who has 0-2 Trey Smith game today.
I don't know, man. Like he was in that game, he was picking up 4 or 5 yards. I mean, he was getting tough yards in that game.
He was
getting tough yards in that game. I don't want to take anything away from Trey Smith. I mean, that was a tough 126 yards he gave us in that game. So we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. Lawrence Robinson says, he asks, is Kaufman back healthy? Do we know about this, gentlemen?
That's a great question. I'm not aware of his status. So we could use him.
For sure. Again, I think who we put back there has been a godsend. Who am I thinking? Who's the guy who's a corner? We put the safety. I can't think of his. He's escaping me right now.
Puckett?
You talking about
Not Puckett. Jalen
Simp.
Simpson. Putting Simpson back there has been a bit of a revelation. But yes, I would love to have Kaufman back as well. Lawrence Robinson says, wrap up, Papo. So what do we expect to see with these linebackers? Again, we've seen the linebackers have actually been the play there has been marginally better too with this coaching change. So what do we expect to see with our linebackers?
I don't know. That's a great question. Who knows?
He's played better. They played better since the change. So I'm expecting what we've seen from them the last 3 weeks. That's who I'm thinking about. I am erasing pre-Mississippi State from my memory as far as this defense goes, and really any of these offensive players too, because they've all played. Everybody has played better since the changeover. I know what it looks like when a boss everybody hated finally leaves or gets fired. Everybody's looser, man. Y'all are talking again at the coffee pot. Everybody's cacking over lunch instead of being all quiet. Yeah, listen, everybody can play better. Papo has played better. He's wrapped up better. I'm not even going to compare to other players. Everybody can play their best game today. And for the first time in a long time, because of who is the head coach, I think it's possible for him to get everybody to play their best game on the same day, which is today. I think it's possible. So yes, Papo wrapping up. I can see it. I see Riley doing the thing too. Everybody.
Right.
Cody Smith says, Caddy going to look at Saban at the end of the game and say that's for passing on me in the draft.
Hey, I would love what a storyline this will be. First of all, a Caddy win over Saban in the Iron Bowl in Tuscaloosa will break Twitter. It will break Bama Twitter. They will lose their ever-loving minds, and we're going to pay for that for a year. And I'm here for it. I'm ready to pay the price. So
that would be great.
Sure.
Yeah, paying down my credit card for this one.
That would be Spicy Penguin asks, who is SWAC?
I don't know what that means.
He's talking about Dion.
Oh, okay. Yeah, they said it was reported that Colorado made him an offer,
right,
to be head coach. So we'll see. We'll see if Dion is looking to make gradual steps into the Power Five rather than jumping straight to the SEC West.
To me, I think that that's par for the course for him. I think starting off at a smaller school and working his way up, just like most coaches, just like most other coaches, and I'm impressed with what he's done so far. But I don't know. There was a part of me that kind of wanted Dion to stay in the SWAC, but again, as he evolves and gets opportunities, he has to take them just for the sake of his coaching staff to give them opportunities. So
for sure,
I'm with it. All right, gentlemen. So real quick, before we get into predictions, because some of you guys have already given y'all's score and y'all's opinion on the game. We've already talked about it, but in final summary, what does Auburn have to do? One thing Auburn has to do that's going to put them in position to win this Iron Bowl.
Control Bryce Young. Got to control Bryce Young. If he has a big day, Auburn has no shot.
I think we've got to put the ball in the air. We've got to. I think they can do everything absolutely on the ground for a lot of the game. They could probably move fairly well for a few quarters, but there's going to be some winning plays that have to be made in the air, and they're going to be there to be made because I think this coaching staff is going to get a couple guys open when they need to be. Can Robbie hit him? Does he have enough in the shoulder to hit him? That's what I want to know. And I think the game will come down to a few pass plays that are there to be made. If he can make those plays, then we can absolutely win this game.
Yeah, I like both of those points. I think they're great. I think one thing we can't do, and it's always been true when we've had to play Bama, is we got to play a pretty clean game. We can't self-sabotage. So false starts, holding, we can't put ourselves behind the 8 ball against this Bama defense on the road. So I think for us, we got to be able to play mistake free, protect the football. Now that's something that we've done as well since Caddy's taken over. We've taken care of the football. So I definitely want us to play a clean game and play mistake free and protect the football. And that I think that'll put us in a position, given what you guys have said, we'll be right there in the fourth quarter for sure. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. It's time to give our predictions on what we expect to see in this game. B. Will. What say you, sir, as Mike leans in and shows nothing but his eyes?
Auburn. Ooh, okay. Hold on. Auburn 20.
Come on now, the game about to start.
We got it's on CBS, so we got 20 minutes, honestly. But
right.
Okay. Auburn 23, Bama 20. Because why not? Why not? Why not us?
I'm going Bama 31, Auburn 14.
Boo. I mean, you could be right, but boo, man.
Yeah, I don't go out on a ledge there, but this is going to be a tough. If the game weren't in Tuscaloosa, I would have. But we've got such a poor record there. They're really going to have to do something historic that we haven't done against since 2010. And even in that game, they got down 24-0. So
that's right.
Yeah.
I'm going Bama 27, Auburn 13.
Okay.
I'm going Bama 27, Auburn 13. So let's see what. And again, I gotta narrow this gap between you guys. I'm in last place, so I have to be the more practical one. I'm out of homering here. James McAlpine says Auburn 22, Bama 20. Daryl says Auburn 26, Bama 24.
Lots of booging in these predictions.
Yeah, buddy, y'all bugs. Neil White says Auburn 31, Bama 18. D-Lev has it a close game. Auburn 28, Bama 27.
Oh, 2010 style.
Yeah, I think James has Auburn 26, Bama 23. Nicholas Frazier says low-scoring game. Auburn 21, them other dudes 20. I like the petty there.
Yes.
Mike Hendricks says Auburn 31, Bama 24. I love all these scores. I want them all to happen. J-Dog says 17-16 Auburn.
Throwback.
I would like this score if we were at home.
Yeah, that's a throwback. That's a throwback prediction.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, B, is 17-16 the bar still out there at Auburn? Is it still open?
I don't know. I think it closed over the pandemic.
Oh, man. They used to have some bomb breakfast burritos when we were drunk. Anyway.
Tony Baker says Auburn 31, Bama 29. And of course, there's always that one.
Neil.
There's always that one who's going to do this. Neil says Auburn. Right. John Brandon says, do y'all know anything about Stan White leaving?
I have not heard anything about this, but I will look into it.
I have not heard about that as well. And J-Dog says it's absolutely closed, by the way.
Oh, boo.
Okay.
Yeah. So, guys, we appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We want you guys to definitely enjoy the game. Come back here, hang out with us, as we will definitely give our thoughts on the first half on the halftime show. Once again, we want to shout out Prize Picks for being a sponsor of our pre-game show. Please be sure to head on over there and use code REPORT, guys. Thank you to Prize Picks for supporting us. Also, get yourself a green name. Become part of the green name gang so that you can actually comment. It's a members only comment on the halftime and post game. So definitely become a member of the War Report and do that. Guys, we're about to sign off. I'm C-Dub. That's Mike G. B. Will. Enjoy the first half. Let it be a good one for the good guys. War Eagle.
War Eagle.